we thought today we would do the red flag, green flag challenge. I've seen on YouTube shorts and different places, and it's where you say your partner's red flags and green flags. So I thought this would be fun because we're married, so there's no true red flags like that made me in the relationship before we got to this point. But there are still lots of things that in marriage that annoy you or drive you crazy. So I think of red flags as things that might annoy me, or vice versa, because I never annoy you. Oh, whatever. So how do you bring those up and talk about those with your partner in a safe way, receive that feedback, give that feedback? And then green flags, like the things that we like. So let's start with green flags, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so we both wrote down 5 of each color flags for the other. And the reason I want to start with green flags is anytime I'm going to give somebody criticism or feedback, I want to remind them that this is a safe space, that I'm doing so because it's part of our relationship. I'm not quitting you. I feel like I can tell you this because you could hear and grow from this, and that's why I'm sharing it. And to remember that safe space, sometimes we do green flags. So green flag number 1, I love that you're always willing to serve your daughter and me. And that's because your love language is acts of service. You will stay up into the middle of the night serving us, or I have to be like, hey, that's not my love language. Stop. Come give me a hug. That's my love language. Just let me cuddle you. But it's really sweet that you're always willing to serve us. What's my first one?
Megan's first green flag is she is incredibly loyal. She is a friend to the end. And I saw this as teenagers because we went to high school together. And in the marching band room, I would have to climb over her and her friends during their counseling sessions because I played the tuba and I had the biggest locker in the entire band room. And so they would pull out the tubas and crawl into this little tiny studio counseling room.
Think bunk bed size kind of cubby area. Yeah, we would hang out in there and we would talk about boys. The second thing I wrote down for you, this is kind of silly, but I love that you always have good hygiene. You always smell good. Even when you're like, I smell bad, I'm like, no, you don't. You smell good.
Second green flag, your faith. You're a godly woman. You give good advice. You're very stable. You know that God is perfect and you are not. I know that you can always encourage me in my faith, and we're here because God let us be. So.
Yeah. Okay, my third one for you is you have a strong work ethic. You work harder than anyone I know. Kind of ties back to your love language of service. So, of course, you work hard. I can always trust that you're working.
My next green flag for Megan, you're fun. You're attractive. I like being with you. And so, I like her, okay? What can I say?
I think what he means by that is there's definitely a silly streak. Be a silly gooser, as we call it. Silly goose.
Yeah, our daughter says she calls us a silly gooser.
Okay, so my fourth one for you, you make the best bedtime snacks. I've just put our kid to sleep. What are we going to do? And he'd be like, I'm going to make you a snack. And it is usually better than whatever I would think. And I'm like, I didn't even know I was craving this. It's so good.
I like to reinvent ramen noodles.
Yeah.
Gourmet noodles. But if I'm feeling lazy, I will eat top ramen dry.
Gross.
Out of the bag.
Nope.
I sprinkle the seasoning.
Can't do it.
It's crunchy. Try it. The fourth one, Megan is a great mom. I like to watch you scope out fun activities, plan quality time with us and our kid, and angling to grow a strong, loving child.
Yeah, I think you're surprised a little bit at how much research moms do, or I do at least, of how can I teach her things to help her be a good person, and then also how much research it takes to plan a fun activity at the right time, around naps, in the right budget frame.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fun.
It'll be 11 p.m. and you're like, we're going to research this and this, and you can take this one. I thought I was going to sleep.
And I'm a night owl and he's a morning person, so there you go. Yeah. So your fifth one, green flag, I love how much self-discipline you have.
Thank you.
I feel like people don't often reflect that self-discipline is like really sexy. So many of the things we think of as attractive are things that require self-discipline. So like being fit or getting a paycheck or having whatever it is that you hear people talking about, like, oh, it's super attractive when, or even just being funny. Like all of these things are things that take practice and work and self-discipline. And so, yeah, you're very self-disciplined. You're way more responsible than me when it comes to adulting. You'll do the gross tasks. You'll just do them. Whereas I'm going to maybe complain about it a little bit, procrastinate it a little bit, and then do it. You'll just be like, just get it done. So I respect that about you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, your fifth green flag is you're a good businesswoman. I just flipped that on you. Your dreams have goals with concrete step-by-step plans. You are financially careful and somehow generous at the same time.
Yeah, if you're going to dream it, you just need a plan and then you can achieve it in steps. So, yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you just feel good now? Like, oh, we do love each other, know each other.
I like that our fifth one was kind of the same thing of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the longer we're married, the more alike we become. So it's good that we at least like who we're becoming as we merge. What were you
slowly
saying?
warping you.
Yeah. Yes, and vice versa. Which takes us right into red flags.
Number 1. You never finish a drink. It might be a juice glass of water she got out for her vitamins. It might be a Coca-Cola can or a cup of tea. She finishes it. She stops drinking it, I should say, and leaves it on the counter for at least 3 days.
That is true. I do that. My first one for you is you don't rinse out the kitchen sink. So I had a middle school home ec teacher. Her pet peeve was when you clean the kitchen, you have to clean the sink as well. So you have a sparkling sink. You'll clean the kitchen, but you'll leave the sink nasty. Preparatory cooking area in my mind, it must be clean. So that drives me crazy.
It does have a thing called a garbage disposal.
Yeah, you're supposed to use that and then clean the sink really clean.
Well, it's where you wash your dirty hands, so your sink is going to be dirty.
Yeah, and I don't understand how my brain works. The counter can have mountain-high pile of dirty dishes, and I'm totally okay with that. Just not the sink. It's really weird. I know lots of people have put the dirty dishes in the sink and feel that way about the counter. But not me. I want my sink clean.
I know this about you.
Yeah, I know. But I still clean the sink all the time.
I sometimes clean the sink for you.
You do. Occasionally. Anyways.
You avoid brushing your teeth before bed. Especially if you've had chocolate. And I bring it up. I'm like, you're having some sweets before bed. She's like, yeah, I want to keep tasting the chocolate in my sleep.
I don't want to brush my teeth right after I eat a chocolatey bedtime snack. I want to wait a few minutes and enjoy the taste, right? Like I'm trying to be a slower eater so that I enjoy each bite because I can't eat what I want to eat in large quantities anymore. Just enjoy it. He's like, go brush your teeth. And I'm like, eh. But you're right, we also wrote down things we thought the other one would say are red flags, and I totally had that one down, that I don't love brushing my teeth at night. And part of the reason I'm okay with that, too, is okay, I should not be getting defensive and explaining, but I'm going to.
This is the fun part.
If you have, like, ulcers or stomach acid reflux type problems, my doctor actually told me not to brush my teeth before bed. The mint taste and peppermint can help kind of like make you have more ulcers and acid reflux issues in your mouth and your esophagus. So I'm like, it's not the best, but your teeth and your dentist would say still brush your teeth at night. So doctor, dentist. I do sometimes, I don't always. I know you don't love that. So the second one, when your mind is somewhere else. and you're not being fully present, which I have grace for. Like, I married an ADD, ADHD person. Love you. I know your mind will go very quickly many places. I love to take that journey with you and go many places. But when you go without me and you don't take me along with you, and I can see that you're spaced out and checked out, and I'm like, hey, come back. I don't mind the first several times, but if it's just like a pattern and I can tell he just needs to go wherever his brain is, I'm just like, you're not helping me. Just like, go. Put your body and your brain in the same room. Thank you. Sorry. Your turn.
Another red flag is Megan asks my help for things that she is fully capable of.
What are you talking about?
Yesterday you asked me where's the thermometer in the kitchen because we were cooking chicken. Keep looking. It's where it belongs.
I didn't know you'd moved the location of where it belongs.
No, it's been that location.
And this tells you how grateful I am that my husband does so much of the cooking for me. Very grateful.
But then I couldn't find the backup thermometer, the spiky one.
Oh.
And then you open this drawer that I forgot existed, and you're like, this is all the well supplies. I'm like, that's news to me.
All the kitchen tools you love to use that I don't use. So, there you go. Yes, I'm very grateful that you cook.
Thank you.
Yeah. And if it sounds like we're getting spicy with each other, we're really not. We know we're safe and we can share our annoyances with each other. So, here you go. But you're right, I am capable. I just am grateful I have a partner to share the load with.
I think when we got married, you agreed that a portion of your knowledge could just be stored in my brain. And
it wasn't like that. I wasn't like, I'm done thinking about this. But it was kind of like we sat down and kind of talked through, like, how are we going to share the workload, right? Because it's great to have someone to share it with. And so talking about, like, okay, what do you enjoy doing? And so we kind of tried to divide our chores in a way that we would not find miserable. Yeah. Highly recommend doing that. Definitely helps stay positive and get things done. My third one is when you leave the cabinet doors open. Which I only really notice when you're putting dishes away. I'm like, oh, all the cabinet doors are open. Will must have put the dishes away.
But they have
for
to
me.
be. At least
Thank you. I'm grateful. I'm not it's one of those things where I'm like, okay. Or if we're cooking together, like, I'll just go around following you, close the doors, put the things. But
yeah.
It's good. You make amazing food.
We work together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Already, but I listed it again. So it must really bug me. Megan throws away 90% empty containers. So there's like 10% of the toothpaste tube, or the ketchup bottle, or the mayonnaise jar she will toss. But I'm the person who will, like, take the back of a hard comb and, like, squeeze all the toothpaste out till it's paper thin for like 2 weeks.
Y'all, I am not doing that.
Or I'll take, like the silicone spatula for spreading icing. I'll use that to get the bottom of the mayonnaise out.
So in my mind, this goes under you are cheaper than me. If you're going to use every cent of something in a bottle.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm more about convenience. I usually have a toddler on my hip, so I'm one-handed. Like, can I get it out easily? I use all the things. In my mind, the mayonnaise jar is completely clean. I have gotten all the things out of it I can. I am not going to slow down and take the extra time to go get a spatula, take the extra bit out, put it in a smaller container, and use the last of it. I'm just going to get another mayonnaise jar. Your coffee addiction annoys me, which I'm not anti-coffee, so hear me out, folks. But it's not great for your heart to drink 3 or 4 cups of coffee a day. And coffee has, like, an interesting effect on ADD or ADHD people. It can help them focus sometimes. in small quantities, but like if you have enough where you're like jittery and you're having heart palpitations, I worry for you because
Thank
I
you.
want you to live a really long time. So I don't want your heart. It's gotta work for a long time. So
Yeah.
that annoys me a little bit.
Your fifth red flag is melted ice cream.
What?
Yeah. Megan will open the container of ice cream from the fridge. At best, just leave it open for several hours, and it gets all soft, and she puts it back in the freezer. It's never the same again because all the air pockets and bubbles have risen to the surface. At worst, she'll take her bowl of ice cream, put it in the microwave, and heat it up, and so that she can drink it.
Okay. Not drink it. It's like it's not an ice cube. I want it a little melty, like kind of like a milkshake consistency. I will make my ice cream into a milkshake. Yes. And
Add milk, put it in the blender.
I do that sometimes. But anyways,
I can't enjoy
this
such
is hilarious because I did not know this would be even on your list, the ice cream one, because you can't eat dairy. So it's my ice cream anyways.
True.
Is that what you're really annoyed about? Is that you can't share the ice cream?
I may be resenting my gut as well as your melted ice cream. It's supposed to be iced, not warmed.
It is still iced. It's just like not. I want to be able to like my spoon to go smoothly through it, not like
soft serve.
It's the rock. Yeah, more like a soft serve. And if I've left it out on the counter for a long time, it's usually because we're having people over and I'm just distracted. Like, we don't have ice cream in our house very often because so many people in our family are dairy free. And dairy is just hard to digest. Like, I was talking to you about this the other day. I was like, I think I realized ice cream is our family's, like, arch nemesis because it will take all of us down in different ways. Like, with the digestive tract of, like, I have diabetes, he has IBS, like, but it's so good. We love it. We love ice cream. It's just a nice sherbet or dolce.
I love Dole Whip.
Dole
Not sponsored, but Dole soft serve. Delicious.
Mm-hmm. Or like you've hooked me on, what are those called? Slushies.
Really?
Have slushies instead of ice cream.
Oh yeah, I love slushies growing up.
I always not compare like ice cream outranked slushies. So like I didn't really. I had a few slushies as a kid, and I was like, nah, ice cream's where it's at. And so I really have rediscovered slushies. They're pretty great.
I used to work outside a lot,
yeah.
and I'd be driving my van home, and I'd get a slushie from the gas station. It really hits the spot.
Yeah.
It's hydrating. It's mostly ice.
Okay. Well, my last one for you, again, it tells you more about me than you really, but it annoys me when you take forever to say something that you could have summarized. And, like, I have a marketing degree, messaging, being able to summarize things. It's what I do. And so having to listen to like an hour of like for something you could have said in like one sentence. Yeah, it bugs me a little bit, but it was really hard for me to think of 5 things that you annoy. So I was kind of like really trying to be like, what annoys me? Because like on the flip side, like if you want to talk about your feelings and just need me as a soundboard, I'm happy to do that. That's not a waste of time. I love you. Yeah, you know? So I was just trying to think of a something that annoys me.
I do start with the facts about my day to give you the context for why I felt the way I did, why I was frustrated in my day. But you often will say, but how do you feel about it? Can you tell me?
Yeah, and that doesn't bug me so much. I think you've become a much better communicator over the course of us being together. We've been married 7 years, plus dating, plus knowing each other since high school for forever. So, like, you've become a much better communicator since we were 15, 16, for sure. But But yeah, part of that is like, if you know the Enneagram, his personality is the peacemaker. And so, like getting you to say the things that annoy you, the red flags, having talks like this where we could vent or criticize, and like you realize they're not a bad thing anymore. Like you don't cringe, you don't have like this wall of things you don't share with me, um which I love. Like I want to know what you feel, even if it is like I'm slightly annoyed or da 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 da, because that's how we can grow, like, and work through these things and realize like that's a small thing. The kitchen sink, he made food, be happy, or like whatever. um yeah, so yeah, you've seen growth.
Yeah.
But yeah, you, especially at the beginning, like you'd be like, I want you to be able to like infer what I'm feeling. I'm like, nope, I'm gonna need you to say it.
Mm-hmm.
How'd we do? Were those the red flags you thought I would say for you? Like, because we wrote down what we thought the other. So our red flags were the things that like annoy us about the other person, but then we also wrote down what we thought they would say. So like, what are the things we remember them nagging us about? Like, did any of them line up?
What I thought you would say about me is I forget what she asks me 10 seconds after she says it.
That doesn't bug me.
Yeah, okay. I leave the cabinet doors open.
That one does, yep.
I let alarms or timers ring the full length, like the oven, the microwave. Megan cannot stand for it to beep more than 3 times.
It's true.
Even my vibrating silent watch. She's like, Megan, stop buzzing.
I don't like alarm clocks. They alarm you. Like, I don't know. I think it's because I really struggled waking up all through my youth and as a child. And so, like, the alarm clock and I have been at war for years, and it's just so loud. Anyways.
I'm just so ADD that I need the full 8 beeps to impact my psyche and to derail so I can remember it.
But that's the other thing with ADD. You'll hear the beep, you'll be like, okay, and then you'll go do like 3 or 5 other things, and it's still just beeping in the background. Of like, that beep is for you to come do the thing.
Well, our new microwave doesn't periodically beep until you open it.
Yeah.
And that has become a problem sometimes.
For me?
It doesn't, the screen doesn't say end forever until you open it, the door. And the old one would beep occasionally just to remind you, hey, you still got food in here.
So you forget that you have food in there even more with the new microwave, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So as it's doing its 7th, 8th beep,
I'll try to help you remember.
Telling myself that I'm making plans. The first 5 beeps I ignore.
Whereas I hear the first one and instantly am annoyed. By the 5th one, I'm very annoyed.
Yeah, you'll turn off the alarm before I even notice that it's going.
Yeah, I just wake you up in the mornings anymore. That's what works for us. If you need help, just tell me. I'll set the alarm. I'll handle it. Get you
Okay. The 4th thing that I thought would be my red flag for you was I do my idea even when you said you didn't like it.
Wait, say that again?
I'll have an idea and you'll tell me, no, I don't want you to do that. And then I do it anyway.
Okay, context around this. This is usually around what he will call process improvements, or things to be more efficient. And what it really means is he has thought of some new thing he has invented, or something he could make in our garage. He's very great at making things. And he's like, I want to make that for you. And I'm like, but I could buy it for $10 on Amazon and it'll be here tomorrow. And you waste like no time. You could have all that time. And he's like, no, I want to spend 4 hours in the garage and make it for you. And I'm like, I value your time over what we would spend. And so again, it's just different mindsets of, you're used to like, I need to create a way to have the thing that I want. And I'm like, well, I'll just buy it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. But you
I
are
just
very
had
creative.
I come from an immigrant family. Like my grandfather traveled over from the Netherlands in 1950 or 1951. And so they had to make stuff out of nothing.
Yeah. And I respect that about you. But I also um, need your time in other ways sometimes.
Yeah.
But I am proud of your inventing creative skills too. Like our kid broke her shoe, the Crocs strap, the very first day we got them, and we were like out and about. So I was like, I don't have backup shoes for you because we've had lots of Crocs. And this has never been an issue. And he's like, let me just whip this rope off my keychain and I'll fix it. And he did. That fix has been working for a week or so.
Uh-huh.
Made it through the zoo, still going, still working.
Uh-huh.
Awesome. We did get her another pair of shoes as well because just children tear up shoes real fast, especially our girl who's very active, climbing, running. Running is like something she loves. Wish it was something I loved. Anyways, we're gonna move on. I loved it when I was a kid. I did love running as a kid. Now I'm just old and tired. Anyways, was that number 5?
No, number 5 was going to be I do extras on the way to doing the thing you asked.
Yeah.
Kind of related.
I think you think that annoys me more than it does.
Really?
Yeah.
I just come from like a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
In terms of time. Like being kind of scattered, kind of attention deficit.
Yeah.
Like my family is full of wonderful, loving, interesting people, but we all struggle with the clock, and so when you see something that needs done, you grab it and do it because you might forget about it later.
Yeah, and then you'll have done like 3 or 4 things before you check off the first thing on your to-do list with the due date. Yeah, that bugs you more than me. I never really thought about that struggle with the clock for your family being kind of tracing back to your immigrant roots in the sense of like being extremely punctual is very much an American business minded thing. Like it's right on the dot, which is how my family is. Yeah, just like my grandparents. If you're on time, you're late.
Yeah.
Kind of mindset. Now
Yeah.
I still struggle with the clock. Like
your grandpa grew up on the farm. Like
that too.
You milk cows in the morning. You eat dinner when the sun goes down.
All your chores done. Yeah. So. Okay, so the 5 things I thought you would say. We'd covered that I don't love brushing my teeth, and I do brush my teeth every day in the morning. But anyways, I thought you would say that I leave things in a place I know it will annoy you, so you'll do the thing that I want you to do.
You put traps on the stairs.
Yeah, and you know this. Like, I'm not telling you. I'm not, like, coming out with my manipulative thing. Like, he knows I do it. Like, here's the cardboard box for you to fold down. And wives, you guys do that, too. Like, here's the cardboard boxes. You got this, babe. You take out the trash. Anyways, that's an example. But you don't like it because you feel like it's manipulating. But then sometimes you love it because you're ADD and you would forget. So it's like a mixed bag. Sometimes you love it that I do that. Sometimes you don't. The second one is so you had on there, interestingly enough, that, how did you say it? If you have to ask me what I wanted a couple of times, you thought that would be something that annoyed me. But it doesn't, because it shows me that you care enough to, like, try.
Yeah.
So that doesn't bug me at all. But I had the opposite of that, which is, like, I thought you'd say when I nag. Like, if I have to ask something multiple times, I feel like it makes you feel bad. But it doesn't make me feel bad to be like, hey, can you do that again? Or we're going to need that tonight, and to say it multiple times.
If I need the reminder, I don't mind.
I feel bad, though, sometimes, like, oh, am I nagging you? I guess. But.
Should.
Okay. The fourth one, oh, I thought you would say that you don't like my social media scrolling addiction. YouTube Shorts, so addictive. Which is why we probably won't do them because I don't want to encourage myself to get addicted to them. Because normally I'm pretty good at time management, but with the shorts, I'm just not. Like, you get hooked so fast and then you get so many in and you don't realize how much time has passed. So, don't love that about myself, I guess. And then the fifth one, oh, I thought you would for sure complain about my struggle with falling asleep because you always want to go to bed before me. Again, you're a morning person, I'm a night person. So like you just have gotten used to falling asleep with like the lamp on, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I know I should turn it off, but I'm not tired.
You do make plans. You say you're a night person. I don't know. You're real. It's real easy for you to fall asleep, like on a Sunday, and just take a nap for hours. I'm not a napper. Never have been.
Anyway, so that's how we have these conversations about receiving feedback from each other, just like this. You can hear sometimes we get passionate or like because you really remember how you felt about whatever you're talking about. But we do it from a place of safety and love, commitment, gross.
Freaking mushy.
Yeah, and like in a place of respect, but we also do it to make our lives better. Like when, my spouse is happy, it makes me happy. We've agreed to be that person to love and care and adore the other. That's a lot easier to do when you're not annoyed with them. So being able to like talk through, hey, and that's how we always try to handle it. Like, hey, I want to bring this up with you so that we can do it better the next time. Because we are committed. We know we're going to make a meal and get together again. We know we're going to go to bed together again. We know we're going to do all these things again. So how can we do it in a way that makes the day better for our whole family as a team? And so when you think of your family kind of like a team, their happiness is your happiness, their success is your success. So I just wanted to mention that because there's the phrase, happy wife, happy life. True, but I think it kind of goes in reverse as well.
Can I run with this?
Yeah.
Since getting married and also becoming a parent, I've realized that your attitude is a responsibility. You're responsible for your own. Like if I can choose to have a good attitude, that benefits my family. Yeah. I have that responsibility to them to not focus on the negatives.
And that's something I'm trying to teach our toddler too, is you choose your, you can choose what you feel and your emotion, and you can choose to change it at any time. So, she's definitely in that stage where, if I scream, can I get what I want? That's what toddlers want to do. Or like she's experiencing anger when we say no. Will holding a grudge get her what she wants? The answer needs to be no. So keeping our no for her in those cases, but also being like, hey, I see that you're still upset with me even though it's been 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You could choose to be happy. Like, you're not in timeout. Mommy just said no, you can't do the thing you wanted. So why don't you think of something else you want to do? There's lots of toys around here. Pick one up. You can choose to go be happy and go do something else. A no just means yes to something else. So I'm trying to teach her that kind of mindset. But that was a tangent about something
cool,
completely random.
That was good.
But yeah, I think you're modeling that for her too. I mean, we all are, like, choosing our...
I'm learning as I go.
We all are.
Oh, man.
What a great note to end this on. So with that, I hope you have enjoyed this and you think about how you will share, give feedback, and receive it, because we all need to receive feedback to grow. So that's it for today. What's a question we could ask them? Like, do you relate to any of these? Does your spouse do any of these?
My challenge to people would be, think of your red flags and ask your partner their red flags for you, and see if they match.
You liked
And
that
think
comparison.
and think of your green flags. Like, what are my gold stars? Do you think I'm good at those?
Yeah.
But just test them and see if you're right about their opinion of you.
And maybe like we did. Oh, I didn't. That's really not that big of a deal. But also, I love the thinking about your own green flags, because if you're in a negative mood or you've been like hating on yourself in your mind a little bit, we all do that sometimes. The best way to get out of that is to stop and think about your positives. And this is something I used to do in the mirror. So, like, if I thought a negative thought about myself in the mirror, I would make myself stop and think of 3 positive things I liked about myself. They did not have to be all physical, but it just helped me to not struggle so much with image perceptions. And that, like, principle I've tried to carry over into other things too. But really
yeah,
helps.
You forced me to do that. If I say something negative, you're like, okay,
Give me 3 positives.
Turn around, 3 positives.
Yeah, and the 3 is just a random number. In marketing, I did learn it takes about 7 positives to undo 1 negative. Yeah. So it's just like, hey, I'm going to need a lot of positives to undo this negative. Just get me on the right train of thinking. But yeah, so yeah, I definitely encourage you to compare your flags with your partner. And also, like, let us know if you relate to any of this. Does your spouse do any of these that we mentioned, green or red? Let us know. Yeah. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and follow us. And we'd love to hang out with you again sometime. Thanks for joining us.
Okay.
Bye.